The COVID-19 pandemic has harshly tinted the fragility of the education system, and it is therefore vital that the innovation and creativity stimulated by this crisis be leveraged to make education system more just, comprehensive, and resilient. In response to a world drastically shifting, the Department of Education innovate Sulong Edukalidad so as to maintain educational continuity. Sulong Edukalidad highlights on 4 reforms in basic education: K-12 curriculum review and update, improving learning environment, teachers' upskilling and reskilling, and engagement of stakeholders for support and collaboration. This school year, Misamis Oriental General Comprehensive High School continues to be involved in Sulong Edukalidad as it launches Mogchs' reading program, Project Reach, Reading Enhancement Across Curriculum Habit Brigada Eskwela Pagbasa 2021. Brigada Eskwela Pagbasa serves as a platform to synergize efforts and resources to attend to education-related challenges, particularly on literacy and numeracy. It also creates opportunities for all stakeholders to present potential solutions to the existing gaps in the country's education system, especially in equipping the learners with the 21st century skills. A detailed and comprehensive set of action plan was then crafted and carried out, headed by our principal, Dr. Abdon R. Bacayana, together with the Mogchs Reading Program Coordinator, Mrs. Anelda C. Orpilla, head teachers, and the rest of the faculty and staff, in order to achieve the targeted goals for Brigada Pagbasa program. In fact, teachers facilitated by the Filipino Department conducted an online orientation through Facebook Live to aptly discuss the objectives and activities pertaining to the reading program. The grade 7 level made use of the Phil-IRI Group Screening Test, integrating the Marungko and Fuller approach to assess students' reading levels. Moreover, to determine whether students have access to the internet, since the process was administered through online platforms, Zoom, Google Meet, Messenger, and Messenger Room. On the other hand, for the grade 8 and grade 9 levels, the teacher identified the learners who have reading difficulty in their classes by conducting the pre-test via Google Form. They also had variety of interactive reading strategies and activities, such as show me a picture and explain, arrange the events according to order, the disease and its aftermath, differentiate fact from opinion, truth versus lie, riddling riddles, solve the puzzle, what happens next, and one-word story. And all of these were done with the help of Information and Communication Technology, or ICT, wherein the teacher allowed the students to install the interactive reading application on their laptop, tablets, or PC. The post-test was then conducted via Google Form. Diversely, the grade 10 level commenced their reading activity by getting the list of all grade 10 learners from the grade 9 advisors. Thus, the teachers created group chats for the different designated sections to properly disseminate information among all learners, including their parents or guardians, for an online orientation regarding the conduct of Brigada Eskwela Pagbasa 2021. Pre-evaluation of the reading skills of the learners was done through the administration of a modified or adapted pre-test. For the reading activity, the teachers introduced series of online listening, speaking, reading, and writing activities to the learners. They were given links related to the activity, which were posted through group chats or Facebook, and text messages or voice call. They then listened to songs via online, radio, or recorded songs through cell phone. They were also provided with the printed materials and worksheets. The learners had the option to watch the video through a link or may listen to a song through the radio or in any music player. They answered the activity using Google Forms created by the teachers or through Facebook groups by section, group chats in Messenger, Google Classroom, voice calls, or even through text messaging. The reading teacher subsequently administered a modified or adapted post-evaluation. For students who did not take part during the said program, they will be given a hard copy of reading materials in every quarter as part of the intervention. As part of the Learning Continuity Plan, the Brigada Eskwela Pagbasa 2021 was based on the ratings from this school year's implementation of the program. The result reveals that about 731 or 56.1% of the learners who were under the frustration level in the pre-test had improved their reading level to instructional, and 120 or 9.2% became independent readers as measured in the post-test. Furthermore, the number of grade 10 learners who were in the frustration level had decreased by 64.8%. And they are now in the instructional level at about 46.4% and 18.4% in the independent level. All these results can be attributed to the reading interventions done before giving the post-test. Also, 70 or 19.6% of the learners who were in the frustration level in the pre-test had improved in their reading level to instructional, and 17 or 4.8% became independent readers as revealed in the post-test. In addition, the number of grade 9 learners who were in the frustration level had reduced by 23.5% and were now in the instructional level in 5.3% and 18.2% in the independent level. Thus, the remaining activities that were given after the pre-test played a great role in the reading performance of the learner participants in the post-test. The results also indicate that 7 or 3.48% of the learners who were in the frustration level in the pre-test had increased in their reading level to instructional, and 7 or 3.48% became independent readers as measured in the post-test. Furthermore, a number of grade 8 students who were in the frustration level had declined significantly by 22.34% and 8.46% respectively, and who were now in the instructional and independent level consequently. These results were the effects of the interventions done prior to giving of the post-test. It can be shown that in the conducted group screening test of 189 or 57.98% of the grade 7 learner participants were in the frustration level. This revealed that more than one-half of the participants projected a low level in word recognition and reading comprehension. However, 125 or 38.34% of the participants belongs to the instructional level, while only 12 or 3.68% were in the independent level. Lastly, the results revealed that in grade 10 students, 59.6% has the most number of students who participated in the Brigada Eskwela Pagbasa program, followed by grade 9 at about 16.3%, then grade 7 14.9%, and grade 8 has the least number of students who joined the reading program. With the collaboration of the administration, stakeholders, parents, and teachers across all curriculum, new normal reading process was realized and pushed through. Active participation of the parents was considered important for the success of this activity. As the first educators of their children, they played a crucial role in their children's educational journey. A stimulating home environment that encouraged learning as well as parental engagement in the reading activity was essential for a learner's cognitive and emotional development. As we are wrapping up this year's Brigada Eskwela Pagbasa, we would like to use this platform to convey our heartfelt gratitude to all the stakeholders for their unwavering support as we continue to nurture the youth to have access to a high-quality education that prepares them to lead a healthy and productive lives even amidst the pandemic. This pandemic has become a catalyst for educational institutions to widen innovations that would aid them in these challenging times. As we brace for the school's opening on the 13th of September, the innovations we had introduced through the Learning Continuity Plan could be implemented into a regular course instruction even afterward. Doing so opens new ways of learning and pursuing the course for teachers, thus highlighting their need to enhance both the initial and continuous training in the use of technology for teaching. While it is evidently necessary for teachers to embrace the various features offered by digital tools such as audio, video, text, live sessions, and interactive games, they also need to be trained in the basic principles of how to effectively use these tools for student engagement and learning, because learning never stops, just as life never stops teaching. We, the entire Mogchs organization, accepts the challenges of the unforeseeable future to do more, strive more, and be more.
Hi learners! Welcome to another grade 7 science lesson entitled Mixtures. It is module 3 of your first quarter science lesson. In every learning activity, let us not forget our objective. For our current lesson, our goal is to distinguish mixtures from substances. How would you like us to start? Would you like a game to exercise your minds? Okay, let's have a game. Let's follow this instruction while having our game. Rearrange the jumbled letters to be shown in the screen to form the correct answer. You are given 5 seconds to answer each item. I hope that's clear. Here goes the first one. It is homogeneous and is made up of one particular kind of matter. It is homogeneous and is made up of one particular kind of matter. Your timer starts now. And the correct answer is Substance. Do you want more? Here it is. Item number 2. A pure substance that cannot be broken down into simpler substance. A pure substance that cannot be broken down into simpler substance. It refers to element. Another one would be nice, right? Let's go. Item number 3. They are made of two or more elements that are chemically combined, producing a new set of properties. Again, they are made up of two or more elements that are chemically combined, producing a new set of properties. The answer is compound. Exactly. Okay, another one would be great. Yeah? Here it is. They are natural substances from the Earth's crust, shiny in appearance, and can be drawn into thin sheets. Again, they are natural substances from the Earth's crust, shiny in appearance, and can be drawn into thin sheets. Okay, excited to see the answer? Here it is. Metals. Excellent. Last one concept, shall we? Let's see it. Item number 5. They are not lustrous, break easily, and are poor conductors of heat and electricity. They are not lustrous, break easily, and are poor conductors of heat and electricity. Okay, excited to see what it is? Here it is. Finally, our last item. Non-metals. Fantastic job, my dear students. Did you know that we identify those concepts so that we will be able to distinguish mixtures from substances? Going to our topic for the day. Again, mixtures. What are these mixtures? They are materials consisting of two or more kinds of substances, physically combined. Okay, there is emphasis in physically combined. Okay, it is but right that we will be able to know the properties and characteristics of mixtures. So, we have the first characteristic and property of mixture is that the components retain its properties after combining them. The components meaning the things that compose it. For example, a salt-water mixture is composed of a salt and water. You mix it and you have a salt-water mixture. The salty taste identifies the salt as one of the components. And it's still salty. It did not taste sweet after all. That means that it retained its property, which is its taste. Off to the second property. Talking about properties, we have to deal with the types of mixtures when we deal with it. So the two types are homogeneous and heterogeneous mixtures. Let's describe homogeneous first. Homogeneous mixtures have only one phase, meaning it's either solid, liquid, or gas, and uniform throughout its appearance. You will not be able to identify the components inside the mixture or in the mixture. So sometimes maybe you're experimenting, you mix water with salt and then you mix it together and there's no more salt in the mixture. Then you have a homogeneous mixture because you can't see the salt anymore. It has one phase already and it became liquid all throughout. The second type of mixture is the heterogeneous mixture. These mixtures have visually distinguishable components. Distinguishable meaning you will be able to identify still the components of the thing that was mixed. For example, sometimes sand and water mix together, but you still can identify which is sand and which is water in the mixture, right? And sometimes too, people who work in the construction mix sand and gravel, but if you pick out the sand and gravel in it, they are still sand and gravel all together. So the components are distinguishable. And so it's called a heterogeneous mixture. Okay, so there's this thing as well, which is a boiling point, which is a characteristic of mixtures. The boiling point varies in mixture. Like, for example, pure water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. It's pure. There's nothing combined in it. Okay? But for water added with salt, it already boils at 102 degrees Celsius. Was there a difference? There's a difference, right? There's an increase in the temperature because it's already a mixture. Last but not the least, mixtures can be separated by physical process. And that necessitates us to go to our next topic, which are ways to separate mixtures. The first process is decantation. What is this? The particles of the mixtures are allowed to settle down and less dense particles are poured off. Did you know that you have been performing decantation before? Tada! This image is proof. As you cook rice, where you add rice grains plus water, and you wash out the rice washing, that is an example of decantation. The next one, separating mixture process, is distillation. It involves a process of evaporation and condensation. Do you think you were able to perform this? Not necessarily, maybe in the laboratory. Okay, water in gas form cools to become fresh water. Purifying seawater. Some countries are performing this so that they will be able to maximize the use of seawater, then be used as drinking water. As heat is applied, water evaporates and white crystal residues remain. Then, filtration. Filtration is a process of separating filtrate from the residue by passing through the filter paper or strainer. Oh, we always perform filtration as well, especially when our faucets are not that that clean, we think. Okay, and the filtrate is the liquid that passes through the filter paper, while the residue is the solid which remains in the filter paper. Like, filtration is just as common as decantation because We always perform this when cooking something like the one called biko. The coconut milk is separated from its pulp. So coconut milk passes through the strainer, and I bet that your house has a strainer too, while the coconut pulp or sapal remain as residue. So these are parts of the filtration: the residue and the filtrate. Last but not the least, there's still a sample of filtration: muddy water, where water passes through the filter paper and the mud remains on the filter paper. Congratulations, we are now in the summary part of our lesson. And so we need to remember the basic concepts we just learned, which are mixtures. Mixtures are materials consisting of two or more kinds of substances physically combined. The mixtures have properties and characteristics. Number one is the components retain their properties after combining them. Number two, the two types of mixture are homogeneous and heterogeneous mixtures. And so, as well, the boiling point varies in a mixture. Last but not the least, it can be separated by physical process. Now is a part for the checking of understanding. Hope you identify the following if it's a mixture or a substance, because we have to distinguish between a mixture and a substance, okay? Number one, sand and gravel. Is this a mixture or a substance? Mixture. Number two, oil in vinegar is a kind of mixture or a substance. Mixture as well. Number three, pure water. Pure water, is it a mixture or a substance? What do you think? Substance. Awesome. Number four, salt, or in chemical terms, it is sodium chloride. It's a substance. Number five, mud in water. Would you remember this? It is a mixture. Congratulations, dear students. And I want to thank you everyone for your time and for watching this video. Bye-bye.
Good day, grade 7 learners. Welcome to another science adventure. For today's episode, you will learn about unsaturated and saturated solutions. To start with, let's have a short review of our last topic on mixtures and substances. I will show you 3 pictures, and you are given 3 seconds to identify if the given item is a substance or a mixture. Are you ready? Let's begin. Number 1. The answer is substance. Salt is a substance made up of the elements sodium and chlorine. Number 2. The answer is substance. Sugar is a substance made up of elements carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Number 3. The answer is mixture. Our famous Pinoy dessert halo-halo is an example of a mixture. I hope you got it all right. Now be sure to have your pen, paper, and Science 7 learning modules. We will now begin our lesson on unsaturated and saturated solutions. After going through the self-learning module, you should be able to investigate the properties of unsaturated or saturated solutions. Specifically, you are expected to: number 1, identify the components of a solution. Number 2, define unsaturated and saturated solution. Number 3, prepare unsaturated and saturated solutions. Solutions are homogeneous mixtures formed by the physical combination of solutes and solvents. The components of the mixture are distributed uniformly in the solution. A solution consists of a solute dissolved into a solvent. A solute is a component of a solution that is being dissolved and is normally present in a smaller amount. On the other hand, solvent is a component of a solution that dissolves the solute and it is normally present in greater amounts. To understand more about this, we will have a simple illustration. We have here a glass of water and a lump of sugar. In this case, if we put the sugar in the glass of water, we are making a sugar solution. The glass of water is the solvent, while the sugar is the solute. Water is called the universal solvent because it is capable of dissolving more substances than any other liquid. Solubility is the ability of a solute to be dissolved in a solvent in a given solution. That is why sugar and table salt will dissolve in water, because both substances possess a property called solubility. But as you increase the amount of solute in a given solution, there is a tendency that not all solutes will be dissolved completely. We can classify solutions based on how much solute they contain. Solutions are described as saturated, unsaturated, or supersaturated, depending on the amount of solute in the solution. For this module, we will only focus on unsaturated and saturated solutions. So what are unsaturated solutions? An unsaturated solution is a type of solution containing less amount of solute in a given amount of solvent, leaving no traces of it. This simply means that the solvent can still dissolve more solute and it forms a single phase. For example, if you add a spoonful of salt to a glass full of water and the salt dissolves, you know that the solution is unsaturated. A saturated solution is a solution that contains the maximum amount of solute that can be dissolved in a given amount of solvent, a state where the solution has reached a point in which no more solute can be dissolved. It is understood that saturation of the solution has been achieved. When a solution is saturated, the solvent is filled with solute, and if you add more solute, it will no longer dissolve. There are several ways to make a saturated solution. Number 1, by adding a solute to a liquid until dissolving stops. Number 2, by evaporating a solvent from a solution until the solute begins to precipitate. And number 3, by adding seed crystals to a solution that is supersaturated. Now let's test your mastery of the lesson. I will read 3 questions and you are given 5 seconds to answer each question. Are you ready? Let's start. Let's check your understanding. Number 1. Which of the following are components of a solution? Letter A, solute. Letter B, solvent. Letter C, solute and solvent. Letter D, sugar and salt. The answer is letter C, solute and solvent. Number 2. In an iced tea mix, which part of the solution is the solute? Letter A, ice. Letter B, iced tea. Letter C, tea powder. Letter D, water. The answer is letter C, tea powder. Number 3. An unsaturated solution has blank. Letter A, lesser amount of solvent than solute. Letter B, lesser amount of solute than solvent. Letter C, equal amount of solute and solvent. Letter D, no solute. The answer is letter B, lesser amount of solute than solvent. I hope you got it all right. Let us summarize what we've discussed today. Number 1. Solutions are homogeneous mixtures formed by the physical combination of solutes and solvents. The components of the mixture is distributed uniformly. Number 2. Solute is a component of a solution that is being dissolved, and it is normally present in smaller amounts. Number 3. Solvent is a component of a solution that dissolves the solute, and it is normally present in greater amounts. Number 4. Solubility is the ability of a solute to be dissolved in a solvent in a given solution. Number 5. An unsaturated solution is a type of solution containing less amount of solute in a given amount of solvent. Number 6. Saturated solution is a solution that contains the maximum amount of solute that can be dissolved in a given amount of solvent. I hope you've learned something from our lesson. Always remember, learning science is fun. Have a nice day and see you next time.
Araw! Ako nga pala si Binibining Keith Palasan mula sa Misamis Oriental General Comprehensive High School ang magtatalakay sa inyo sa inyong Filipino upang malaman natin kung ano ang gagawin natin sa araw na ito. Talakayin muna natin ang daloy ng talakayan. Meron tayong 6 na daloy ng talakayan. Una, paghahanda. Pangalawa, layunin. Pangatlo, baliktanaw. Pang-4, panimula. Pang-5, bagong kaalaman at ang panghuli ay ang pagtataya. Ang unang gawain natin sa araw na ito ay ang paghahanda. Nabibilang dito ang una, pagdarasal. Pangalawa, paghahanda ng kagamitan gaya ng ballpen, notebook, WHLP at ang sagutang papel. At syempre ang panghuli, kinakailangan ninyo ang inyong mga module. Kung handa na ang lahat, pumunta na tayo sa susunod nating gawain. Ito ay ang malaman kung ano ang ating layunin para sa araling ito. Sabayan niyo ko sa pagbasa ng ating layunin sa araw na ito. Na isusulat ang sariling bugtong sa lawikain, sa wikain o kasabihan na angkop sa kasalukuyang kalagayan. Bago natin simulan ang bagong talakayan, balikan muna natin ang mga uri ng karunungang bayang inyong natutunan. Meron akong ipapakitang mga pangungusap sa inyo. Mula sa mga pangungusap na ito, tukuyin ang tamang uri ng karunungang bayan sa pahayag. Bibigyan ko kayo ng 1 minuto upang sagutan ang gawaing ito. Ang inyong oras ay magsisimula na ngayon. Tag-ulan o tag-araw hanggang tuhod ang salawal. Pangalawa, ang taong nagigipit sa patalim kumakapit. Pangatlo, hinila ko ang tadyang lumapad ang tiyan. Pang-apat, hindi lahat ng mayaman ay asal hayop. Panglima, pagkahaba-haba man ng prosesyon, sa simbahan pa rin ang tuloy. Tapos na ang oras na binigay sa inyo. Ngayon, ipapakita ko ang mga sagot. Handa na ba kayo? Una, salawikain. Pangalawa, kasabihan. Pangatlo, bugtong. Pang-apat, salawikain. At ang panghuli ay kasabihan. Bago natin talakayin ang ating bagong aralin, meron muna tayong gawaing gagawin. Mula sa inyong module Aralin 1.2, pahina 13, balikan, gawain 2, hugot mo kahulugan ko. Mula sa mga hugot lines, ibigay ang pakasariling kahulugan. Halimbawa, hindi lahat ng tahimik ay nasa loob ang kulo. Sila lang kasi iyong tipong marunong mag-isip bago kumibo. Ang pagpapakahulugan nito, sila ang mga taong malalim mag-isip at ayaw nila ng gulo. Pinag-iisipan muna nila bago sila magsalita. Kayo naman, pumili kayo ng isang hugot lines at bigyan ninyo ng sarili ninyong pagpapakahulugan. Isulat ninyo ito sa inyong sagutang papel. Ano nga ba ang hugot lines? Ang hugot lines ay madalas na nating makita sa social media. Ito ay maituturing na makabago o modernong tayutay. Ito ay isang pangungusap o mga pangungusap na nabuo dahil sa mayroon itong nais ipadama o mayroon itong mensahe na nais iparating. Ang hugot lines ay maaaring paghinuha sa sariling karanasan. Hindi ba't ang salawikain, kasabihan, sawikain at bugtong ay mga karunungang bayan? Sa nakaraang talakayan natin, natalakay natin kung ano nga ba ang salawikain, kasabihan, sawikain at bugtong. Ngayon, tingnan natin kung ano ang pagkakatulad at pagkakaiba nilang apat. Unahin natin ang pagkakatulad at pagkakaiba ng salawikain at kasabihan. Ang salawikain ay patalinhaga, samantalang ang kasabihan ay hindi patalinhaga. Ito ay may anyong simple o payak. Ito rin ay sumasalamin sa kilos at gawi ng mga tao. Ano naman ang kanilang pagkakatulad? Ang salawikain at kasabihan ay hango sa karanasan ng mga matatanda. Nagbibigay ito ng payo tungkol sa kagandahang asal. Karaniwan din itong may sukat at tugma. Ang sawikain ay patalinhaga. Ito rin ay ginagamitan ng tayutay. Samantalang ang bugtong ay isang palaisipang tula. Meron itong nakatagong kahulugan. Ito rin ay parang hindi totoo, ngunit nakabase ang sagot sa totoong karanasan sa buhay. Ang pagkakatulad naman ng dalawa, ang dalawa ay may sukat at tugma. Ito rin ay nakakahasa ng talino ng tao. Upang malaman natin kung talaga bang naiintindihan ninyo ang pagkakatulad at pagkakaiba ng iba't ibang karunungang bayan, gamit ang inyong module, pahina 15, isa-isip, Gamit ang Venn diagram, isulat ang pagkakaiba at pagkakatulad ng 4 na karunungang bayan. Sumulat lamang ng tigda 2 pagkakaiba at pagkakatulad ng bawat karunungang bayan. Bibigyan ko kayo ng 1 minuto upang gawin ang gawain ito. Mas naiintindihan niyo na ba ang pagkakaiba ng mga karunungang bayan? Ngayon, mula sa inyong natutunan, gagawa kayo ng sarili ninyong bugtong gamit ang wikang Filipino na may temang tungkol sa pandemya. Isulat ito sa likod ng inyong sagutang papel. Isulat lamang ang inyong pangalan, seksyon, at syempre ang inyong sariling bugtong. Meron kayong 1 minuto upang matapos ang gawaing ito. Tapos na ang oras na binigay sa inyo. Ako muna ang magbabahagi ng sarili kong bugtong. Handa na ba kayo? Namumukod tanging korona na ayaw mapalanunan ng sinuman. Ano ito? Ang sagot ay coronavirus. Pangalawa, hindi siya makikitang dumating, pero ramdam mo siya habang kumakain. Ano ito? Ito ang COVID-19. Sa pagtatapos ng ating talakayan, sagutan ng isang pagtataya na makikita sa inyong module. Ito ay nasa module 1, tayahin, pahina 17. Ito ay may bilang 1 hanggang 10. Gawain siyam, tama o mali. Basahin at unawaing mabuti ang mga pahayag na naghahambing sa uri ng karunungang bayan sa iba. Tukuyin kung ito ay tama o mali. Isulat ang salitang tama kung ang paghahambing ay tama at mali naman kung mali ang paghahambing na ito. Isulat ang sagot sa inyong sagutang papel. Ang mga tanong. Una, ang bugtong ay mukhang hindi totoo ang pinapaksa, subalit lagi namang nakaugat ang sagot sa totoo at pamilyar na bagay na makikita sa kapaligiran. Pangalawa, ang salawikain at kasabihan ay kapwa mga paalala tungkol sa batas ng mga kaugalian. Pangatlo, ang kilos o ugali ay masasalamin sa bugtong at hindi sa kasabihan. Pang-apat, ang bugtong at sawikain ay may sukat at may tugma. Panglima, ang salawikain ay nilulutas bilang isang palaisipan, habang ang sawikain ay binabasa lamang. Pang-anim, ang bugtong at sawikain ay kapwa nakahahasa ng talino. Pang-pito, ang bugtong ay ginagamitan ng eupemistiko, tayutay o idiomatikong pahayag at hindi ang sawikain. Pang-walo, ang bugtong ay ginagamitan ng matalinhagang pahayag habang ang sawikain ay payak na mga salita lamang. Pang-siyam, ang salawikain at sawikain ay butil ng karunungang hango sa karanasan ng matatanda. At ang panghuli ang 10, Ang bugtong ay karaniwang patalinghaga, samantala ang sawikain ay direktang isinasaad sa kaisipan. Meron kayong 1 minuto upang matapos ang gawaing ito. Tapos na ang oras na binigay sa inyo. Ipapakita ko na ang sagot sa mga katanungan. Handa na ba kayo? Walang karagdagang gawain mula sa nilikhang bugtong, iguhit ito sa isang buong papel. Kasama itong ipapasa sa module. Ang inyong takdang aralin ay basahin ng mas maaga ang kasunod na paksa na aralin. Sa muli, ito si Binibining Kit na nagsisabing ang magagandang asal natin ay hindi dapat limutin. Maraming salamat at paalam hanggang sa muli!
Magandang araw! Kumusta mga mag-aaral? Ako si Binibining Jaira May Pineda, ang inyong gurong lingkod mula sa paaralan ng Misamis Oriental General Comprehensive High School, ang tutulong sa inyo sa ating aralin sa umagang ito. Bago tayo magsimula, tiyaking komportable kayo sa inyong kinauupuan ngayon. Ihanda ang inyong module, ballpen at sagutang papel. Magiging matagumpay tayo sa pag-aaral natin kung matatamo natin ang ating layunin. Pagkatapos ng ating aralin, kayo ay inaasahang nahuhulaan ang mahahalagang kaisipang nakapaloob sa mga karunungang bayang napakinggan o nabasa. Handa na ba kayo? Kung handa na, makinig ng mabuti. Ngayon, ang tatalakayin natin ay ang idiomatikong pahayag na makikita sa inyong module pahina 18. Bago natin tatalakayin ang ating panibagong aralin, balikan muna natin ang ating nakaraang aralin. Naaalala pa ba ninyo? Sige, simulan na natin. Ano nga ba ang bugtong? Ano ba ang kaibahan ng salawikain sa kasabihan? Ang bugtong ay uri ng palaisipang nasa anyong patula. Isang pangungusap o tanong na may nakatagong kahulugang nilulutas bilang palaisipan. Ang kaibahan naman ng salawikain sa kasabihan ay ang salawikain ay karaniwang patilinghaga na may kahulugang nakatago. Samantala, ang kasabihan ay hindi gumagamit ng mga talinghaga. Payak ang kahulugan. Ang kilos, ugali, at gawi ng isang tao ay masasalamin dito. Ngayong maliwanag na sa inyo ang mga bagay na napag-aralan ninyo tungkol sa bugtong, salawikain at kasabihan, maaari na nating ipagpatuloy ang susunod na aralin. Sino sa inyo ang pamilyar sa hugot lines at pick-up lines? Tama! Ang hugot lines at pick-up lines ay mga modernong tayutay. Ito ay mga pangungusap na nabuo mula sa paghihinuha ng mga sariling karanasan na kalimitang tungkol sa romansa o pag-ibig. Halina't maglakbay na tayo sa makabagong panahon. Alam kong nakarinig na kayo ng mga hugot lines mula sa iyong mga kaibigan o di kaya'y nabasa sa social media. Gamit ang mga idiomatikong pahayag, ay iugnay ninyo ang mga hugot lines na sikat ngayon sa ating panahon sa pamamagitan ng pagbuo ng hugot lines. Buksan ang inyong module sa pahina 30. Suriin. Magbibigay muna ako ng halimbawa. Pagkatapos ay isusulat ninyo ang inyong sagot sa inyong sagutang papel. Halimbawa, guhit ng aking palad. Ang kahulugan ay kapalaran. Hugot lines. Hindi ako nababahala na ikaw ayaw umalis, pagkat ikaw at ako ay nakaguhit na sa aking palad. Ngayon, kayo naman ang sasagot. Bilang una, sumama sa agos. Ang kahulugan nito ay sumang-ayon. Pangalawa, kisap mata. Ang kahulugan nito ay iglap. Pangatlo, nagdilang anghel. Ang kahulugan nito ay nagkatotoo ang sinabi. Pang-apat, nagpantig ang tenga. Ang kahulugan nito ay nagalit. Siguro naman ngayon ay may napulot na kayong mga kaalaman hinggil sa idiomatikong pahayag. Kaya, ating pagyamanin ang inyong kaalaman sa pamamagitan ng paggawa ng mga tamang pangungusap gamit ang mga idiomatikong ekspresyon. Gawing malinis ang pagkakasulat ng iyong mga pangungusap. Tingnan ang inyong module sa pahina 31. Ang bawat bilang ay may 5 puntos. Una, durogin ang puso, na ang kahulugan ay pasakitan. Pangalawa, kabagang, na ang kahulugan ay katropa. Pangatlo, suntok sa buwan, na ang kahulugan ay mahirap abutin. Pang-apat, may uod sa katawan, na ang kahulugan ay malikot. Pang-5, magaan ang dugo, na ang ibig sabihin ay magiliw. Ako ay nasisiyahan na marami na kayong natutunan sa puntong ito. Kaya, tingnan ang inyong module sa pahina 32. Isa-isip. Panuto. Gamitin sa pangungusap ang idiomatikong pahayag na nasa loob ng kahon. Isulat sa sagutang papel. Upang magkaroon kayo ng ideya kung ano ang ibig sabihin ng nasa loob ng kahon, ay ibibigay ko ang kahulugan nito. Ang ibig sabihin ng naglulubid ng buhangin ay nagsisinungaling. Ang isang tao ay naglulubid ng buhangin kapag gumagawa lamang ito ng kwento na hindi naman totoo at puro kasinungalingan o gawa-gawa lamang para makuha ang mga bagay na kanilang gusto. Isa itong masamang gawain sa kapwa. Tingnan ang inyong module sa pahina 33. Isagawa. Sa loob ng 5 minuto, ipaliwanag ang hugot lines na ginamitan ng idiomatikong pahayag. sa ibaba sa pamamagitan ng pagguhit ng isang larawan sa kahon. Alamin ang kahulugan ng nakasalungguhit na parirala upang maiguhit mo ng tama ang gawain na ito. Isulat sa sagutang papel. Hugot lines. Ikaw ay isang buwayang lubog sa ating pagmamahalan, kaya ikaw ay hindi dapat pamarisan. Nasasabik na ba kayong matapos ang ating aralin? Sandaling-sandali na lang. Sa kabuuan, ang idiomatikong pagpapahayag ay isang parirala o pangungusap na magkaiba ang literal na kahulugan ng salitang gawa sa matalinghagang pahayag. Ang mga hugot lines at pick-up lines ay tinaguriang modernong tayutay na kadalasang ginagamit tungkol sa pag-ibig. Sa pagtatapos ng araling ito, sagutan ng isang pagtataya na makikita sa inyong module, tayahin bilang 1 hanggang 15. Panuto. Tukuyin ang kahulugan ng karunungang bayan sa ibaba sa pamamagitan ng pagbuo ng ginulong titik. Isulat sa sagutang papel. Una, hilong talilong. Pangalawa, mahaba ang buhay. Pangatlo, basang sisiw. Pang-apat, isulat sa tubig. Pang-5, balat sibuyas. Pang-6, nakadikit sa laway. Pang-7, naglulubid ng buhangin. Pang-8, anak dalita. 9, di marunong magpatawad. 10, usad pagong. 11, mahapdi ang bituka. 12, pabalat bunga. 13, nakalutang sa ulap. 14, di mahulugang karayom. 15, susunod-sunod sa dalaga. Para naman sa karagdagang gawain, gamit ang iyong mga kaalaman sa unang bahagi ng araling ito, susubukan nating masukat ito sa pamamagitan ng pagsulat ng iyong sariling tula na gagamitan ng mga hugot o pick-up lines at idiomatikong pahayag. Isulat sa sagutang papel. At bilang paghahanda sa kasunod na paksang aralin, basahin ito ng mas maaga. Ipagpunyagi ang iyong tagumpay sa pagtatapos ng module na ito. Nagamit mo na ang mga natutunan hinggil sa karunungang bayan sa pag-uugnay nito sa kasalukuyang paggamit tulad ng mga hugot at pick-up lines na palaisipan sa mga kabataang tulad mo ngayon. Naway gamitin mo lagi ang mga natutunan sa mabuting paraan. Naway siksik, liglig, at umaapaw na kaalaman ang nakuha ninyo sa ating aralin. At dito nagtatapos ang ating talakayan. Palakpakan ninyo ang inyong mga sarili. Sa muli, ako si Binibining Jaira May Pineda, ang inyong guro sa Filipino. Paalam!
Hello everyone, I'm your teacher Early of Mathematics 9. We are now in Quarter 1, Week 2, Module 2. Solving quadratic equations by completing the square. Our objectives in this lesson: number 1, state the steps in solving quadratic equations by completing the square. Number 2, solve quadratic equations by completing the square. At this point, let us go directly to our example. Number 1, find the solutions of 2x squared plus 12x minus 14 equals 0 by completing the square. Solution: divide both sides of the equation by a, the coefficient, then simplify. A is the leading coefficient. How to determine the leading coefficient? We have to arrange from highest term to lowest term in our equation. So since it is arranged, the leading term is 2x squared, so our leading coefficient is 2. So we have to divide all terms by 2. We have 2x squared plus over 2 plus 12x over 2 minus 14 over 2 equals 0 over 2. Then the result is x squared plus 6x minus 7 equals 0. Next step, write the equation such that the terms with variables are on the left side of the equation and the constant term is on the right side. What are the terms must be found on the left side? So we have x squared plus 6x, and then terms that can be found on the right side, we have 7. So it becomes x squared plus 6x minus 7 plus 7 equals 0 plus 7 by applying addition property of equality. The result becomes x squared plus 6x equals 7. Next step, add the square of 1/2 of the coefficient of x on both sides of the resulting equation. The left side of the equation becomes a perfect square trinomial. So we have here x squared plus 6x plus the quantity of 6 over 2 raised to 2 equals 7. How did we get the third term? The coefficient of the second term, or the x coefficient, which is 6. Then half of it is 3. Then squared of it is 9. Here is the result. X squared plus 6x plus 9 equals 7 plus 9. We add both sides by 9. Then simplify. X squared plus 6x plus 9 equals 16. Next step, express the perfect square trinomial on the left side of the equation as a square of a binomial. What do you think is the square of binomial on your left side? And the square root of your right side. So we have the quantity of x plus 3 raised to 2 then 4 raised to 2. Next step, solve the resulting quadratic equation by extracting the square root. So we will get the square root of each side. So square root of quantity x plus 3 raised to 2 equals square root of 4 raised to 2. Simplify. We have the quantity of x plus 3 equals plus minus 4. At this point, you are going to solve the resulting linear equation. For plus sign, we have x plus 3 equals 4. The result is x equals 1. For negative side, we have x plus 3 equals negative 4. The result is x is equal to negative 7. For checking, for x is equal to 1, to the given equation, just simply substitute the values of x by 1. So we have 2 times 1 raised to 2 plus 12 times 1 minus 14 equals 0. The result is 2 plus 12 minus 14 equals 0. So 0 is equal to 0. So since they are both equal to 0, then x is for 1 is correct. For x is equal to negative 7, to the given equation, just simply substitute the values of x by negative 7. So we have 2 times negative 7 raised to 2 plus 12 times negative 7 minus 14 equals 0. The result is 98 minus 84 minus 14 equals 0. To simplify, 0 is equal to 0. It shows that x equals negative 7 is correct. So the answer is the equation 2x squared plus 12x minus 14 equals 0 has two solutions. X is equal to 1 and x is equal to negative 7. Okay, let us take another example to find the solutions of x squared minus 8x minus 9 equals 0. Solution. From the given equation, x squared minus 8x minus 9 equals 0. So, we let all the terms with variables be left on your left side and a term with it, which is constant, be placed on your right side. To get a perfect square trinomial, so let us take half of 8, then square, so we will have 4 square, which is equal to 16. So add both sides by 16. Then the result is x squared minus 8x plus 16 equals 25. From then, get the perfect square of your trinomial. So we have the square of quantity x minus 4 equals 5 square. get the perfect square root of each side. The result is x minus 4 equals 5. So since it is square root, it has two values. So we have the quantity of x minus 4 equals plus minus 5. To get the values of x on your plus side, you have x minus 4 equals 5. The result is x is equal to 9. For your minus side, which is x minus 4 equals negative 5, the values of your x is negative 1. So at this point, we have to check your work if the two values are correct. For x is equal to 9, just simply substitute the values of x to the given equation. So here it goes. 9 squared minus 8 times 9 minus 9 equals 0. So for the result, you have 0 is equal to 0. It shows that x is equal to 9, correct. For x is equal to negative 1. From the given equation, just simply substitute. Then the result, 1 plus 8 minus 9 equals 0. Then 0 is equal to 0. It shows that the two values are correct. So the equation x squared minus 8x minus 9 equals 0 has two solutions where x is equal to 9 and x is equal to negative 1. Okay, so you have here more drills to answer. For number 1, x squared minus 2x equals 7. For number 2, you have s squared plus 4s minus 60 equals 0. So I'll give you time to answer. Thank you for answering the drill. Thank you for watching, and we have here the answer for our drill.
Good day, everyone. So we are now proceed to our lesson in Mathematics 9. It's all about Quarter 1, Week 1, Module 2, and it's all about Lesson 2D, Solving Quadratic Equation by Quadratic Formula. And the objectives of this lesson are: first, identify the real numbers of A, B, and C. Second, solve quadratic equation using quadratic formula. And find its roots or solutions of the given quadratic equation using quadratic formula. Quadratic formula. This is an equation that can be used to find the roots or solutions of the quadratic equation ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. And here is our formula. We have x equals negative b plus minus square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a. Plus, remember this formula. Again, x equals negative b plus minus square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a. We can use this method if the given quadratic equation cannot be done. Factoring method. Here are the steps on how to solve quadratic equation by quadratic formula. First, write the equation to its standard form ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. If it is already written in standard form, proceed to the next step. Second, determine the values of the coefficients a, b, and c. Third, substitute these values in the quadratic formula. Class, do you remember or familiarize with formula? Okay, let's proceed. Fourth, evaluate and simplify the result. And last, check the solutions obtained using its original equation. Example number 1. Find the solutions of the equation 2x squared plus 3x equals 7 using the quadratic formula. Okay, are you ready? Okay, let us start. Write the equation to its standard form. So here is our example. 2x squared plus 3x equals positive 27. Question. If this equation is in standard form, yes, no, it's not yet in standard form, so we need to transform it. But how? Okay, by addition property of equality, we need to write, we have 2x squared plus 3x equals 27. So by addition property of equality, we need to find a solution that this right side becomes 0. So all we need to do is to add negative 27 both sides of the equation. Then simplify. Positive 27, negative 27 become 0. So 0. Now this part, this left side, you need to arrange it according to its highest degree of exponent. So first, the linear quadratic term is 2x plus 3x minus negative x. It is now our standard form. Okay, let's erase it. So, let's proceed. Our new equation, which is now in standard form, we have 2x squared plus 3x minus 7, 0. And that is from addition property of equality. Next step is determine the values of the coefficients a, b, and c. Okay, so we have here the values of a is positive 2, b is positive 3, and c is negative 27. Step 3. Substitute these values in the quadratic formula. So we have our formula x equals negative 3 plus minus square root of b squared minus 4 times a plus c all over 2 times a. And our coefficients are a, which is positive 2, b positive 3, and c is negative 12. So this time we need to substitute all the coefficients inside our quadratic formula. All are in constant, but we need to replace only the coefficient a, b, and okay, let's do it. We have x copy equal sign. Then we have our negative, which is constant, and b is in positive 3. Then copy plus and minus sign. Then with our square root symbol, then substitute the value of b, which is 3 squared minus 4 times the quantity of our a times the quantity of our c is negative 27 all over 2, which is constant, and then times positive 2 in our coefficient a. Step 4, evaluate and simplify the result. From the substitution of our quadratic formula with coefficients, we have now x equals negative times the quantity of positive 3, positive negative square root of 3 squared minus 4 times the quantity of positive 2 times the quantity of negative 27 all over 2 times the quantity of positive 2, or simply 2 times 2. And let us simplify further. Okay. We need to copy x and then equal sign. Then we need to simplify negative times positive 3 becomes negative 3. Then copy the sign. We have the positive and the negative. Then copy the radical symbol. Then simplify 3 squared, or 3 times 3 becomes 9. Then we need to simplify this negative 4 and positive 2 becomes negative 8. Then copy negative 27 all over 2 times 2, which is 4. Okay, so class, be cautious enough with regards to the symbol or the sign, positive and negative. Okay, let's do this. Okay, negative 4 times positive 2. Okay, and then we have also negative 8 and negative 27. Next, let us copy x, then equal sign, then let us copy negative 3, then the positive and negative, or the plus and minus sign. Then we have our radical symbol. Then copy positive 9. This time we need to simplify negative 8 and negative 27. So this time we need to multiply. So, negative 8 times negative 27, same sign, it gives positive sign. So this becomes negative 8 times negative 27 becomes positive 215. Okay, then all over 4. Okay, so this is now our new equation. Then let's proceed. We have this, so let us copy x, sign, let us copy negative 3, then the sign, and this time we simplify under the radical symbol. So the simplify 9 and 15, which is 225. Then, all over 4. Okay? Okay? Okay, let's proceed. And this time, you need to copy x, equal sign, then copy negative 3, then the signs, positive, negative, or the plus minus sign, then let us simplify. So 225, which is 15. Okay? Next dion, we have to copy this 4, this. Next, okay, actually this is the last part in solving or finding the root or solution of our quadratic equation. So take note that we have to involve operation or derivative. So all we need to do is separate it respectively. And first, we have here x is equal to negative 3 plus 15 over 4. The other one is x is equal to negative 3 minus 15 over 4. So now let us focus on the side. So we have here negative 3 plus 15. So in adding integers, we need to remember that if it is a like sign, we subtract and then copy the sign of the larger value. So we have here negative 3 and positive 15. So if we subtract it, so we have 12. So the value or the sign that we use is positive. So 15 is larger than 3. So we have here positive 12 over 4. Okay, so let us reduce 12 over 4 into by the term. So all we have to do is to divide it. So 12 divided by 4 is 3. Okay, so our first root now is 3. Then let us proceed to the another. So we have x is equal to negative 3 minus 15 over 4. So take note that this actually we have this one time. So in adding integers with the same sign, so you have to do add the numbers and then copy the sign. So this time we need to add 3 and 15, so it will 18. And then copy the common sign, which is the 0. We have here negative 18 over 4, so it is copy 4. And then negative 18 over 4 can be reduced. So we can reduce it by 2, which is the common multiple. So negative 18 divided by 2, we have negative 9. And positive 4 or 4 divided by 2 is 2. So we have here now our second root. So first root is positive 3, the other one is negative 2. So this is now our solution or root of our quadratic equation. Step number 5, check the solutions of the original equation. So this time, we need to check our all solutions if they are true or false. So first we need to try our first, which is positive 3. So we need to use our original equations. So we have 2x squared plus 3x equals 27. But this time our equal to it is with decimal because we need to know this equation here are both equal to each other. So next we need to replace our variable x with our positive 3 as our first root. So all of our variable x must be replaced with positive 3. Okay, so let us simplify. Copy positive 2, then simplify 3 squared becomes 9. Then 3 times 3 is positive 9. Again, so checking if we are equal to each other. Next, let us multiply 2 by 9 becomes 18 plus 9. Again, so checking if we are equal to 27. So 18 plus 9 is 27, which is equal to each other. So therefore, positive 3 as our first root is 2. Next, let us check if our second root, which is negative 9 over 2, is 3. Let us again use our original equation, 2x squared plus 3x equals 27. Checking if we are equal. Next, let us substitute our variable x with our negative number. Then simplify. Copy positive 2. Simplify negative 9 squared becomes positive 1. Then 2 squared is 4. Check. Okay. Then this time we need to multiply positive 3 by negative 9 becomes negative 27 over 2. Then we're checking if we are equal to each other. So simplify further. So this time by cancellation 2 and 4, this is 1 and 2, 4 is 2. So this becomes 81 over 2. Then copy minus 27 over 2. So checking if we are equal to. The next, let us simplify. Since this is now a similar fraction, so under subtraction, so 81 minus 27 is 54. So let's copy that denominator. Again, so checking if we are equal to each other. So 54 by 2 is 27, which is now equal to 27. So therefore, our second root negative 9 over 2 equals to. Now, both values of x satisfy the original equation. Thus 2x squared plus 3x equals 27 is 3. Then x is positive 3 and x is also in negative 9. The final answer, we have the equation 2x squared plus 3x equals 27 to solution. We have positive 3 and negative 9 over 2. Okay, it's solving time. So, are you ready to solve the problem? So make sure that you have your pen and your paper with you. Let us start. Find the solution of the quadratic equation in 2 minutes time for 30 points. So ready? There is our quadratic equation. Okay? Your time starts now. One minute more. Okay, time is up. So let us check your work. So, okay, we have here our answer. Let us try to check if you are correct or not. So, who got the correct answer? Okay, we have our solution or root with positive 2 and negative 5. Who got it correctly? Okay, ahead. Remember, in solving quadratic equation using quadratic formula, we need to first write the equation to standard form ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. If it is already written in standard form, proceed to the next step. Second, determine the values of the coefficients a, b, and c. Third, substitute these values in quadratic formula. We have x is equal to b plus minus square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2a. Next, evaluate and simplify the result. Last, check the solution obtained using the original equation. That's